From dating to relationships, from sex to love, from Christianity to politics, from darkness to light, you have now entered into the real zone. Welcome to Conversations with Trent, where no topic of conversation is safe from discussion. Now, here he is, Mr. Epic himself, Trent Williams.
What's going on, folks? What's going on? Actually, I thought we'd start the topic off tonight with a video that actually prompted this conversation. Tonight's topic, actually, welcome to the conversation, folks. Welcome to the conversation. Dee's going to be running a little late. She's got a session running over, coaching session running over, so she'll be here in a few minutes. We got Shannon waiting in the wings, so she'll be here in a second as well. But tonight's topic, I'm not him. Committing and allowing ourselves to let go. Again, I'm not him. Committing and allowing yourself to let go. As I browse through the online like I normally do, searching for topics and what have you, all I see is women in these videos for the umpteenth time. They're very frustrated. They're looking very frustrated, talking about their current relationship status and so on and so forth, right? There's a great deal of number of pain. There's a great deal of number of pain that these ladies are going through. And let's be clear, fellas. Men like myself, my past actions, we're responsible for a lot of these things. So we're responsible for actually walking them back out of that pain. So let's bring Shannon in real quick, and then we'll get this thing started. Hey. What's going on?
Good evening. Happy Sunday.
Good. It's a good Sunday. How's it going in Atlanta?
Welcome. Thanks for tuning back, joining us again this week.
Good stuff. What did you think about the opening piece I opened with?
I didn't see the video. Didn't.
Oh, you didn't hear it?
No.
You didn't hear anything?
No. I was wondering. I was going to text you because I wasn't quite sure what was going on in the background.
Oh, wow.
Every time a relationship ends, it's not always the man. There's plenty of women out here doing shit to be ashamed of. I had nothing to do with them 10 relationships that you was in before we got in a relationship. You just brought all of them heartbreaks, insecurities, issues, mental, emotional, and physical abuse into this brand new relationship. Now I'm on the receiving end of all this shit that them 10 dudes that did.
Yeah, that was the Tyrese piece, right?
Yeah, that was Tyreek's piece that I posted.
The audio didn't come through earlier. But hey, Martine. Hey, Lanye. Welcome.
What's going on, ladies?
Back in, tuning in and joining us tonight. Lanye, you can't see the platform, or I'm not sure what she was saying. Are you having technical difficulties, Lanye? Or are you saying we're having technical difficulties?
I think at the beginning the feed kind of slipped. I saw the feed slip on this end, but it's actually I see those guys in there, so I see a whole bunch of them there. So they're actually there. So let's jump into the topic. Dee will be coming along. She's running late from a coaching session, but I'm not him. Committing and allowing yourself to let go. Mm-hmm. Like I said in the opening, as I browse through online like I normally do, cruising through, seeing what the good folks are talking about, all I see for the umpteenth time are these women. These women looking very frustrated, speaking very frustrated, talking about their current relationship status, so on and so forth. And it's a ton of pain, a great ton of pain. But let's just be clear, fellas, we're responsible for that. And we're also responsible for walking these ladies to that exit door. So I came up with a couple of tidbits and how to actually walk past all that and how to let go. There's a few tips we'll be talking about throughout the show on how to let go. But it's it's a whole bunch. We can't just put it on women, but this week the gloves off for the women as well. So last week was for the guys, and we're going to get back on them on Wednesday. And here at the conversation, we want you guys to know that it's a shared responsibility type situation over here. We're not pointing the finger at one sexes, at the sex. One person, not individual, whatever. It's a shared responsibility. All this pain that's going around. So not a man's fault, not just a man's fault. It's a woman's fault as well. So it's a shared responsibility around here. But let's get into it. What was your first thoughts when you saw that? Because I saw your post when you post for the show.
Wait, what post? Which post for the show? You talking about
you shared the initial.
I'm like, that was that. Okay, you're confusing me, and I haven't. I've only. You
shared.
I know I shared, but I didn't like really say anything related to the topic. So that's what I thought you were getting to. Okay,
no. I just saw it, so you shared. What was your thoughts on it?
My bad. Actually, I think when I first saw the Tyrese video, I mean he was point on. He really was, and I think sometimes as women it is a challenge for us not to bring or to put some of that past from previous gentlemen or women, whoever you're with, and putting that on a new person, and holding them responsible to a certain degree for some of it, right? Not consciously. I don't believe it's conscious at all. I think it's definitely something that happens subconsciously. But I do think it requires really to be able not to do that, to really be conscious of and aware of and intentional with not doing it.
Exactly. Let's
give everybody a fresh, clean slate.
Exactly. Let's be fair, folks. Let's be fair. All of us, including myself, have been on the end of a frustrating partner who we were misidentifying with the person who left us, holding the scars of a past relationship. Again, a lot of us have misidentified the partner that we're with, misidentifying them with the partner that we're with.
I like that word you're using. You using some kind of new words.
I had to go into the coaching bag. I had to go into the coaching.
Okay.
I've misidentified a ton of folks after coming off the heels of that relationship, chapter the Delta.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. I did misidentify a ton of women with Morgan.
Okay.
And it was that relationship was so hurtful and painful. I wrote a series about it. So I was walking through that pain and still misidentifying people. So it's it happens. It happens to the best of us. Let's bring Coach Dee in real quick. Hey.
Hello, Coach Dee.
Hey there, how are you doing? Sorry,
we're good. How are you?
I'm good. I had an EFT session that was running late, and paid work comes first because I got bills to pay.
Hey, I'm mad at you. Hey, Joker Dog. Hey, Joker Dog. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. He says intentionality requires a certain level of awareness and self-reflection. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the conversation, we call it the chisel, and we call it the inward mirror.
Martine says she likes that word too. I know, right? Misidentification.
Yeah, misidentified. So as I'm writing this topic up, I started thinking about how I misidentified a woman that come into my life for Morgan. I was like, that woman wasn't Morgan. She was nowhere near Morgan. She wasn't Morgan. But I mishandled her by misidentifying her. I was still carrying those scars.
What were some of the things that you may have done? Like, give us some examples.
Insecurity traits. I was carrying that over from the relationship, the past because and Morgan cheated and whatnot. That created some insecurity within myself, and I started accusing her of things that she definitely wasn't doing. But that was the remnants of the past relationship that had bled over. that I allow to bleed over into the current relationship.
So you're saying that after whoever you were involved with afterwards, you projected those insecurities on them.
I did.
As far as accusing them. Okay.
I did. Because I was misidentifying her. I didn't have the tools back then to recognize my flaws and to take that mirror, because I was still going through the 5 steps of grief and loss in that relationship and that marriage. So I didn't have the tools. I didn't acquire the tools until later on to actually move forward in a relationship and help my partner go forth in a relationship in a positive manner. Gotcha. So I misidentified a couple of folks.
Gotcha. Okay. Alanya said something was wrong. Must have something been going on her end technically, so she's back on now.
Yeah, Alanya is kind of, she's technically crippled like Shann, folks. She's definitely like Shann.
You didn't get to put my business out there like that. Like
everybody know I'm the technical person here.
When your condition is not affecting it, yeah.
There you go. Coach D, what's your thoughts on the topic of tonight? And good to see you, man.
I go back with your being the technical person, because that's not true.
Yeah, of course you supersede me in the technical joint. Now come on, knock it off.
I am the technical person, so
you definitely are.
So where you're talking about relationships and not healing from relationships prior to going in other relationships?
Now, what we're talking about pretty much is when you go into a relationship, after a turbulent relationship.
Right.
And what the title speak, I'm not him, committing and allowing yourself to let go. So pretty much, you put it on both sides, not just the women doing this, but it was the women's turn tonight to get this work. But in some cases, you see in relationships, people carry on baggage. They bring carry-on luggage onto another flight. And, a lot of folks, and we see it daily with the videos posted, all the stuff with these relationship groups and all that stuff. People are bringing carry-on luggage to another relationship. But, we know that they don't have the tools to actually move forward. Like me, I didn't have the tools to move forward. So that's why I kept misidentifying folks. I was mistaking them for Morgan, and pretty much we all know that Morgan moved completely on, but she was still living rent-free in my head.
Yeah, it's very common. It's when I talk to people about past trauma, the biggest things that come up is relationships that they haven't healed from.
Right.
Whether it's somebody cheated on them, somebody was abusive, somebody who just ghosted them, like left without any closure. Like people who, and like one example, when I say ghosted, I don't mean somebody that were like talking and then they just disappeared. I'm talking about a woman came home to her house where she was living with her husband and he was gone. Like all of his things were, and then he filed for divorce. Never spoke to her, not an email, not a text, or nothing. So she got absolutely no closure from that. So that leads to trust issues. And then you have people who bring trauma from childhood. So each relationship you should, and people don't do it because people are so tied up with being with somebody versus being alone because they're afraid to be alone right now because they haven't healed yet. And it's important to be alone and find your own peace, so that you can go into a relationship peaceful.
And I'm glad you, thanks for the alley-oop. I'm glad you actually brought that up. Mm-hmm. Tip number one, create a positive mantra to counter the painful thoughts. What do you mean, Trent? Create something positive and focus on that. Mm-hmm. I've literally had to train myself to focus on all things positive. I went through an 8-year process getting over that relationship, getting over that marriage. And I had to create positive thoughts. I trained my mind. You have to retrain the brain to get past certain traumas. Wouldn't you guys say?
Well, it is important to have positive thoughts, but at the same time, it's you have to have positive thoughts without dismissing the other thoughts, because you need to experience your emotions in order to work through it, in order to get through that trauma to move forward. You have to experience those emotions. You have to go through the grief. You have to go through the anger. You have to work through the fear so that you can get to the move out of the shadows so you can move into the light, so to speak.
Exactly. And when she said you have to get through the trauma and all that stuff, folks, understand that the 5 steps of grief and loss. 5 steps of grief and loss just don't go for a death. Losing a marriage, losing a relationship is similar to a death. You're going to go through each change 4 and 5 times. 5 steps of grief and loss. You go through the 5 steps, you can complete those steps at least 4 to 5 times, sometimes 6. I repeated them a whole bunch of times over the past 8 years that I was going through. I had to repeat those steps, go back, and all that good stuff.
All right, so we've got some comments. Mark has a 2-part comment. So he said, part 1, the past impacts our present every day, whether it's in how we approach certain situations or how we emotionally react to what people say.
Mm-hmm.
Part 2, in romantic relationships, people can sometimes repeat behaviors to make up for the falls of their previous ones. In psychology, this is called repetition compulsion. Okay, hold up.
Mark didn't come to play. Mark did not come to play tonight.
What's going on tonight?
Mark didn't come to play tonight.
Are you now? So are we adding to the list of his professions here? Yeah,
I don't know.
School, so I think he was, like a priest, trying to be a priest, a bishop, or somebody.
Yeah, actually, we got to add another one to his.
Now we got therapist.
We'll have to add another one to his plethora of skills because I actually called him yesterday and I needed to adjust the mic and change the treble. I wanted to get a little treble out of that because when I was testing the platform, our new platform, my voice was kind of shaky. All our voices were kind of thin. And
I feel like
he walked me through.
Right. I feel like that's TMI right now.
Go ahead. You're a mess.
I'm just sitting here like, wait a minute. Why are we concerned with the treble? Like we was
that was just my way of actually. That was my way of promoting that the new platform is coming.
You had a senior moment.
Nah, that's one of those condition moments. You know that. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hey, Alvin, thanks for joining us, Gentle Giant.
What up, Blas? What up, Al?
No, you didn't come on here talking about how about them Cowboys? You talking about the Cowgirls?
Yeah, he messing with me. He messing with me.
Joker Dog says,
I like the Cowboys.
You like the Cowboys?
Yes.
Okay. We'll let you have it for tonight. Let's see if they do anything this year. But I can't talk. We got the Falcons here. We already know what they do.
Yeah.
So Joker Dog says, I think the last guest was very helpful. Yes, he was. He directly but very kindly redirected responsibility from blaming to accepting personal responsibility. People need gentle help. People need gentle help to do this stuff. Yeah. Exactly. But no, two very good points. I just want you can never say we don't give Mark props when they're deserved. So two very
absolutely good. I appreciate that. Yeah, Joker Dog, Brother Ramiel will be back on Wednesday for part 2 of and we'll see it in real time. D is gonna completely geek out.
Well, it depends because I have an EFT session booked for Wednesday. So
Gotcha. Anybody else in the comment section?
No, those are all the comments. We're caught up for now.
Gotcha. So pretty much like I said, if we're not careful, we're definitely not careful. Remnants from our past will bleed over into our future.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be, just like Shannon said, we have to be very mindful. We're going into these relationships with these new partners. They will be very conscious and mindful of their feelings as well, not to bleed on.
Mm-hmm.
Not to bleed on. And we'll go to another tidbit. Number 2, create physical distance. You have to create physical distance. You can't be going back and forth, secretly meeting for coffee and all this sort of foolishness. Hey, if they're gone, let them go. Then number 3, one of my favorites, do your own work. You're responsible for everything that you bring to that new relationship that you didn't take the time to court. You're responsible to do your own work. You're responsible to do your own work and not bleed on other folks. So number 4, practice mindfulness. You have to practice mindfulness. You have to be considerate of other people's feelings. Can you imagine the weight that I was placing on the women in my life as I'm actually misidentifying these folks. The things that I put them through, I brought all that toxic, all that bad karma into that new relationship because I wasn't ready. I wasn't even ready for a relationship. But I was there, but it's my responsibility not to bleed on her. It was my responsibility not to bleed on her.
So Martine says, I'm mindful of not bringing past hurt into new friendships or romantic unions. She says, not perfect, but I'd learned from watching others and the fact that I like to treat people as I'd like to be treated.
Yeah, exactly.
Mark has a part 3. He says, part 3. And it essentially means you're trying to fix the past by pursuing similar situations or people who once hurt you. There's 11 signs your old relationships are affecting your current one. That's very true.
That's true, Mark.
But I don't know what the signs are. Say that again, Coach D.
Are we sure that's Mark?
No, right?
I don't think nobody's gotten his account. That's Slash.
I am thoroughly impressed, sir.
But that's really true. That we repeat the lessons we don't learn, or the pains that we don't fix, right, or heal from.
Exactly, and that brings me into number 5.
Did I just say that? I might need to go to coaching school or something.
Isn't that something? All this greatness is just rubbing off on folks.
Lord, it happened when Coach D came on.
Yeah, right. So yeah, let's go to the next tidbit. Number 5. This is very important. This is very, very important. Be gentle with yourself, but not too gentle where you become delusional about your situation.
Ooh.
Again, be gentle with yourself, but not too gentle that you become delusional about your situation. Because once you start misidentifying folks, you're going to start taking that person for that person. And you're just going to dump everything on that person.
Mm-hmm.
That's misidentifying, going completely wrong and left. That means you're in the second relationship, failed relationship, because you're going downhill from there. Once you misidentify, you don't catch yourself, that's a wrap for that second relationship as well.
Well, Martine had a good comment. She says, sometimes people aren't being nasty or totally horrible in the next union. They'll attempt to get that next person to fill in holes that the one before them missed. I
wouldn't recommend that as well either. Now, trying to fill in those holes.
Right, but it happens, right?
It happens a lot.
Not subconsciously, unconsciously was the word I was looking for.
Right.
They're like unconscious behaviors.
Yeah, because a lot of people think that they need somebody who completes them instead of somebody who complements them.
Yes. Yeah.
Good point, D. Good point.
Yeah, I've always thought you can't. Yeah, and I think that just comes from a level of maturing and starting to know who you are. And it's like, no, you can't you can't depend or rely or hold anyone else accountable for your own happiness. Like, exactly. You need to be a whole person. I don't like that whole term, my better half or my other half. No, you should be a whole person before they come along, or even when you get into that relationship or that union.
Look at you, Coach Shann.
I know. I'm trying. I'm about to be on it.
We're hitting on all cylinders here. That takes me into number 6.
Articles like Mark.
We hitting all on all cylinders. Here's what's going leads me right into number 6. Allow the negative emotions to flow, but take a break from dating before going forward. Again, allow your negative emotions to flow, but take a break from dating before going forward. That'll go into what Shann was talking about, taking a break and dealing with yourself.
Yeah.
Before you actually make that commitment with someone else.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
So Joker Dog says codependency is part of the issue. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Lanye said, I put my best foot forward in everything I do until I'm shown that I shouldn't. Never have I changed the next person with the previous person's actions. Yep.
Ooh, that's good.
There's a saying that in the beginning, people treat you like you treat them. And in the end, they treat you like, it's like she treats you like how you treat her. Mm-hmm. And then you're getting treated the way you treat her. So it's like it sounds exactly the same, But when you think of the difference of how the treatment starts at the beginning and then at the end, I mean, you go from constant attention and loving notes and conversation to silent time and anger and stuff like that. So you get back exactly what you give out.
Exactly. And that's part of the 5 steps of grief and loss.
It's a
Number
trauma.
7. Exactly. Number 7, then we'll take a break here in a few minutes here.
Okay.
Number 7, accept the other person may not apologize. Again, accept that the other person may not apologize. In some cases, you'll never get an apology you want. Move on. Move completely on. You will never. I never, in all these years, I never got that apology from Morgan. Once I stopped looking for it, once I stopped, she's going to apologize. I really didn't need it. Her unapologize, that's fine with me. I've moved on from that. So you leave them with the baggage. You return that back to Cindy. You leave them with that baggage, because trust me, that baggage is still with them.
Yeah, I one of the things I had to learn is that you're not always going to get closure.
Not at all.
And to be okay with that. And I totally agree that you may not get the apology. You may, you may think you want it, or you may feel that you deserve it, but you have to learn to be okay. At least for me, and I say that from experience, I had to be okay with knowing that, okay, yeah, you did this, whatever.
Exactly. That's for the majority of us. Majority of us, because I struggled for 8 years. Folks, listen to me. 8 years.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. 8 years looking for that apology that I never got. So I had to, at some point, I had to be okay until I was going through the motions, through those 5 steps of grief and loss through the years. I started pretending with myself, I'm okay. That's when I started creating more roadkill. That's when Romello resurfaced, creating all this roadkill, bleeding on all these women. Again, for the second trip. Until I finally said, you know what? Enough is enough. That's when I started journaling that and just put it in the book and healed through the writings.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Joker Dog says, Coach D, I disagree with your last comment. I think some people are just toxic, even if they don't know it. Which comment? I'm not sure which comment we're talking about. Let us know what the comment was, unless Coach D lets you know what he means, which one he's referring to. But let us know, Al, which comment you're referring to. Martine, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Is he referring to that people treat you the way people have a tendency to treat others the way they get treated?
I'm not sure. Let's see what he says when he comes back on. Martine says, what about the ones who come to you years later wanting to apologize? Didn't you do that, Trent? Didn't you say you did that kind of?
I did. I did. And hey, just accept the apology and keep it moving. At that point, you should be healed.
Forgiveness is never a requirement for healing.
One more time.
Forgiveness. Oh, I said forgiveness is never a requirement for healing. You can heal without forgiveness.
Boom.
Without that apology.
Boom. And that's exactly what I did. I forgave without the apology. Still to this day, Morgan has not apologized for the pain she inflicted on me. Not one time. She did it through her actions, but that's still not an apology.
But never verbally expressed.
Never verbally. Never.
So almost, it kind of makes you wonder, what did she bring in? Like, what part or what was she not healed from that caused her to act the way that she did during your marriage? Me
personally, and I'll get a little transparent here. Me personally, I don't believe Morgan's actually fully healed.
From stuff. You mean from stuff before you?
Stuff before me.
Okay.
From all the way from childhood.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think she's fully healed.
Gotcha.
And we talked about it. We talked about that.
And some people will apologize because they don't feel sorry for doing anything.
Boom.
Ooh.
That's deep. One more time for the people in the back didn't hear you.
Some people won't apologize because they don't feel sorry for doing it.
Exactly.
Because remember, if somebody's cheating, sometimes people will make you the villain in the story to justify what they've done. So but if they turn around and start to accept responsibility, you're no longer the villain. So they come to themselves more, where they have to take a deep look and go, well, if they're not the villain, then I'm the villain. And some people can't acknowledge that.
It's absolutely
Wow,
true.
that is
And I think,
very-
honestly, you know, that's so deep what you're saying, because I think I was actually acquiring this happened to me while I was acquiring the tools, when I was going to get the certifications for the coaching certs and all that stuff. But I realized that I was a super villain. And honestly, I believe that's what actually healed me, because that's when I started on this apology tour with the conversation, going around the country, having these talks with these women and writing these books on relationships and the things that I did as Romello.
Wait a minute. Okay. Hold on. So wait a minute. Two things here. So that was an apology tour, going around the country talking to people. Like,
that's what I did when I started out. Yeah, it was an apology tour.
no, I don't think you'd ever. I don't think I'd ever heard you use that term in reference.
Yeah, it was an apology. That's how the conversation started. I was actually, honestly, how the conversation started. I was on three-way. Used to do a three-way with Ursula and her friend Chantel out of Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
We would just sit around and have a conversation, and I finally had a chance to have a platonic relationship with women I never touched, and they would actually open up and give their deepest thoughts and their deepest feelings. And I was like, you know what? I was really a bleep person. I started writing the books and started apology tour. It lasted for a number of years. So that was my way of actually reflecting back to healing myself, because I'm like, man, I was a monster.
Gotcha.
That's the only way I was able to move forward.
So Joker Dog said that was the comment that he was referring to, Coach D, the one you mentioned. But what did he said he disagreed, because he says he thinks some people are just toxic even if they don't know it.
There's very few people who are truly harmful to others. Like, they have a DSM diagnosis through psychologists. Most people who are in relationships who are treating people badly have some things that they need to deal with.
Here's the thing.
People look at therapy as helpful and look at therapy as telling themselves that they're broken. People don't get the work that they need done, because there's trauma from our parents, there's trauma from schools, there's trauma from jobs, there's trauma from our environment, illness. There's so much going on that so many people are hurting inside that sometimes lashing out at others is the only thing that helps them in a kind of roundabout way. So when they lash out, if they don't get help back, it ends up just becoming a bad relationship, and it just revolves into cycles of bad relationships.
To expound on Joker Dog's comment, I truly believe, this is my opinion, this is Trent's personal opinion. Everybody knows if you're on bullshit, you're on some bullshit. You know you're on some bullshit. Period. The only reasons why we do what we do. The only reason why we do what we do in most cases, we know the reason why we do what we do. We know it. We know what I knew I was on BS when I was dealing with every single woman that I heard. I knew I was on some BS. So I don't buy the whole thing of some people don't know that they're toxic. Yeah, man, you know you contaminated and you're bleeding all over these women. Because when the lights power off, the truth comes on. Your truth comes on. Each night the lights power off, your truth comes on.
Oh, Lord.
It's called the conscious.
Okay. Martine says some people just don't care and will never take accountability for their behavior. That is
totally agree.
Hey, Ursula, welcome. She said thanks for the shout out. She said, and Martine continued by saying some people don't or won't accept help, and they may go through the rest of their life being an ass.
Pretty much.
It sounds kind of familiar and near and dear to how some folks on the panel that have a lot more testosterone than others could be. I don't know.
That is hilarious.
All right, we've gone way past our break time. It's 36 after the hour. I think that was a good time to go and pay some bills.
We'll let it breathe, and then we'll get to the last tidbit, the number 8. and we'll get back to. Well, hopefully, we'll get to. Hopefully,
Mark
could
got part 4, so we got to get through this break. Yeah, Mark is on his coaching role tonight.
That's what I'm talking about. We'll be right back after the break, folks.
Thanks for tuning in to Conversations with Trent. We will be right back with more conversation after these commercial breaks. Conversations with Trent in conjunction with
after divorce and after the passing, untimely passing of my father. So that's how I became a writer. And, here I am.
Check out the creative work of the author Trent Williams of www.taylorkennedymedia.com. Chapter of the Delta gives us a peek at his life-changing events. And if that's not enough, Trent tells you more about his brothers and his life through memoirs in his book, The Four Horsemen. His blogs and daily stimulating quotes are published in his book, Life's Little Addiction. And when you have a need of some human coaching of life and relationships, take a look at Conversations with Trent, Volume 1 and 2, and Conversations with Trent, Limited Edition. You will find his works available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all online book retailers.
Welcome back to Conversations with Trent. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're online and want to be a part of tonight's topic, you can do that by dialing 347-324-5327. Press the number 1 to get into the queue so that your voice can be added to tonight's conversation. Now, let's get back to the show.
All right, folks. Good stuff. Actually, tonight's podcast is actually brought to you by TabsEdibleCreation.com. As you can see, the wonderful cookies pockets in the back. I've actually been kind of nice to for almost 3 weeks now, so hopefully I could, surprisingly, this week.
Wait, what did you just say? You've been what?
I've been, kind of nice to you this week. So. Hopefully I'll get something special in the mail. TabsEdibleCreation.com is the spot for those overloaded cookies and infused cakes. Good stuff.
Thank you for that. So wait, I've been thoroughly impressed thus far with Mark's comments. So part 4. Our childhood experiences with our parents, teachers, and friends really do have a pretty big impact on how we operate both personally and professionally in early adulthood. I want to know who hacked his account.
I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket.
Wait a minute. Isn't it, what is that thing? The Mercury retrograde or something that's going that we're in? Could that
That is hilarious.
could that be it? Could that be, this little change? Okay. I don't know, but no, that is very true.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely
Ursula
true.
said, Chantel and I also started to understand where we could possibly be falling short in relationships as well. We determined it was our unwillingness to communicate accurately. Now that's
Wow.
a nugget right there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad everyone from that conversation. We used to call it conversation roundtable. They literally used to call me. I don't know where I'd be, somewhere in the country, and she'd be like, "Hey, I got Chantel on the line." Like, we talk. I mean, we talk for hours. Man, that's some of the best conversations I've had with those young ladies, man, over the years. And actually, it got me through a turbulent time, because at that time my father had passed literally like months in my arms, so it kind of took me on a different path. It was a great time. And also, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was going to read the comment. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. That's fine.
Martine said, those same people will seemingly have it all, but what's happening is we've paired with kindred spirits, and it's a codependent union. And some people like to justify their nastiness by claiming that they're keeping it 100.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I can definitely see that.
So did we get through all your points, or did you have some other?
Yeah, the last one, which is my favorite. Engage in self-care. Engage in self-care. A lot of us, that's another overused word. Self-care. But are you really engaging yourself? Are you really engaging in self-care? Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was just thinking. I like to think of it as not self-care, but self-love. Because I think
that's a good way of saying it.
Practice loving yourself, you're automatically going to do the things that are going to take care of you.
Absolutely. And some of that, folks, is you have to use your personal chisel daily, along with your inward mirror. Deal with yourself. Plain and simple. Deal with yourself.
Martine, when we were trying to figure out if what's going on with Mark tonight, so Martine was saying, yes, the retrograde, she says, but nah, that ain't it. But she said, but it's refreshing to see the seriousness.
That's what I'm talking about.
I know. And we can totally comprehend what you're saying, what you're typing and communicating to us.
Mark is actually getting ready for the new platform that we're moving over to, because it's going to be viewed by a whole bunch of folks.
Very impressed.
Yeah.
Very impressed. I'm impressed. Thank you.
Yeah. So speaking of the platform, we're going to be moving from Facebook and all of that good stuff. We'll still do the live stuff through only the YouTube channel, but we're excluding Facebook altogether. And it's a platform for Shann, Dee, and myself, where you guys will be able to subscribe to that channel, speak with us, talk to us right there, comment, go back and forth. We call it Gumbo Conversation. The Gumbo Conversation is bleeding over, and that's going to be the Gumbo community, where everybody's welcome to add their voice to a topic, like you guys are doing here. So,
absolutely. Thank you, Martine. She says it's all love indeed.
Absolutely. So, Dee, you want to reply to Joker Dog? He said he disagreed on that topic. Actually, we're gonna agree to disagree with Joker Dog on as far as I'm concerned, with that about the toxic. People don't know when the toxic are doing wrong or whatever.
He said some people are. Wait, I want to make sure. He says some people are. He says I think some people are just toxic even if they don't know it. So okay.
Yeah, I think it goes back to you. If you don't know, you don't know. Like if you have a blind spot about your own behavior, then you can't be like, well, I'll fix what I don't know about. You can't fix what you don't know about.
Right.
Until people sit down and closely examine it, then until I did some of my work, there were some things that I did that I didn't know I did.
Yeah.
So we all have these blind spots about who we are and what we do. And I don't think I think there's very, very few people who are unhealable. And when I talk about those very few people, I'm talking like Manson and Bundy and those kind of guys.
Right.
Other than that, most of us are healable. The problem is most of the things that happen to us that form our beliefs and who we are happen from 0 to 7.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of
Exactly.
people don't put into the gravity of the things that happen to us between those ages, like how you talk to your kids, how you treat your kids, like all this stuff comes back tenfold when you're
Exactly.
adult.
And this is what I really wanted to focus on. We're doing a great job of focusing on the topic tonight. I really want to focus on the part of letting go and not just the guys and getting the headache from the woman. Well, gentlemen, you chose that woman, so it's your responsibility to walk that woman to the exit door. Again, you chose her. It's your responsibility to walk that woman to the exit door. Meaning, if she's bleeding on you, you should have saw all those signs in the beginning if you're actually in tune with yourself. So you share. It's a shared responsibility. You have to walk the woman to the exit door. If you're committed to that woman, you got to help her walk her to the exit door.
Yeah.
Put on that life jacket, man, and go out and get it.
So Brendan was agreeing with me. He says, "I feel you, Shann. You can't love someone else if you don't love yourself." And then Martine, in reference to the last comment when we were going back to Joker Dog's comment, she said, "Some people don't know that they're troubled souls, especially if they're surrounded by so many others who behave those same ways." Yeah.
Exactly. Totally agree. Totally agree. Totally agree.
Very true. Wow.
Anyway,
I really, Mark, if you're on here, thank you. If you're still on here, thank you. This has
wait a minute.
been
Is
it's
this?
been very refreshing having you on here tonight with part 1, 2, 3, and 4 of your comments tonight, and they've been on point. So thank you, sir. Oh, and here is speaking. I spoke him up. He said, "Truth without grace is not really truth. Is not really truth, and grace without truth is not really grace." Tim Keller. Oh my! What are you doing, sir?
Hey,
Tonight.
we're stepping up the conversation. We're stepping up the conversation. I'm feeling good about this, man.
I like that quote. Truth without grace is not really truth, and grace without truth is not really grace.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Martin says they're all snapping high fives, thinking they're the coolest. Oh yeah, the ones who are in the set. If you're surrounded by the others that behave that same, that are troubled just like you are, yeah.
You know what? Like I said, once we'll be in a better space, and I'm just here, man, trying to change the narrative of this bickering back and forth. With I'm not gonna believe. I'm not gonna believe that men are that hard on women to where they refuse to pick up their inward mirror and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm partly responsible for that woman feeling." So we still love women. We still love women. So I'm gonna continue to push this shared responsibility to where both parties are healed. But gentlemen, you have to take responsibility, man, for a lot of that stuff that we're seeing online. We're responsible, including me, for these women feeling that way.
That is very true.
We're definitely responsible. I'll be the first one to take the bullet. Who's coming behind me? Speaking to the gentleman. So, like I said, like I told folks when I was doing the write-up for last week, man, the gloves are off. If we're in the business of healing people and helping people, the gloves are off. So if I say something that offends you, send me a note. We'll talk about it.
Ooh, okay. Martine says change is good, and that is excellent, Trent. Okay. So we're going in the right direction. Thank you, Martine. Appreciate
Good
that.
stuff. Good stuff.
I'm ready for Brother Ra to come back on Wednesday.
Man, I got so many calls on Brother Rob, man. It was like, wow, I can't believe. But it's so funny. He and I we're talking about it after the fact. And we've been doing this for a number of years, man. And it was just refreshing to have that brother back and doing his thing and turning that mic back on so his voice could be heard. Brother, he's full of knowledge. And as you can see, Joker Dog mentioned that he was very knowledgeable and he was very kind in speaking and even though he was disagreeing, you had to respect because he said it in a respectable way. And he's just like, he's just that type of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple of nonsense emails about it. One, it's so nice to see you submissive. I'm like, I wasn't being submissive. I was listening.
Wait a minute. Where do these emails come to? Because I don't get any email. Well, nobody has.
These always put their email.
Some people didn't understand. Yeah, some people still don't get it, that you can disagree with somebody and still want to hear them out. And, you know, your energy is energy.
Yeah.
Like, he gives good energy. So even though I disagree fundamentally with some of the things he said, I'm like, listen, man, say what you need to say. I'll listen to you.
Right. Exactly.
I can't believe emailed you about
people. I mean, she's always putting her email on, so people know dlayler@gmail.com.
No, you put it on there. Talking about send all the hate email, and then you give it.
I know she's going to handle it very graciously.
Yeah,
Mark,
I'll tell you myself in a polite Canadian way.
Say that again. I think I was talking over you. I'm sorry.
I said I will tell you about yourself in a kind, polite Canadian way.
There you go.
So Mark said, "Ayo, Mr. Epic, let's agree to disagree." What are you agreeing to disagree on?
Mark and I have been disagreeing on this whole topic about on the thread when I posted that the post I wrote about the guy giving her oxygen, about
the
flower watering. And guys, let's be honest here. You know what? I'm glad you brought it up, Mark. I'm going to read this and let's bring it out to the masses here. But Mark and I graciously we agreed to disagree on the life jacket. I was like, hey man, we're partly responsible for that. Swim out and go get that woman and swing her back and bring her back to shore. But we kind of disagreed on that. But I knew a lot of stuff that I write, I know he's going to graciously disagree with me. But that's just honestly how I feel. I mean, we're partly responsible for that. We're responsible for going out and get her and bring that life jacket with you. Even if you have to take yours off to give it to her. Swim her back to shore.
But are you the one that threw her off the boat?
Exactly. That's my whole point. I got to change her heart. I'm going back and get her. That's my whole point. So here's the blog from somecallmetrent.blog.com. somecallmetrent.wordpress.com. So it says, a picture speaks 1,000 words when it's viewed properly. I'm sure the gentleman pictured below knew from the moment he witnessed her walking in. He knew exactly who she was and what great value she was about to bring into his life. This can only happen when God has prepared you for the ultimate purpose and blessing. Sometimes the flower that needs watering is the flower generating the nourishment that strengthens the king. I'm going to read this twice for the slow people. Sometimes the flower that needs watering is the flower generating the nourishment that strengthens the king. That means she's nourishing. She's giving you the nourishment. Go out and get it. She's giving you the nourishment. She's feeding you to come out and get her. She's breathing life into you. So you got to reciprocate that. I've been on this for years. I've been on the shared responsibility. We have to take responsibility, gentlemen. There's something that these women are feeling. We're responsible.
So here's a question. If you threw her off the boat, what makes you think she wants to take a life jacket from you?
She has no choice. If she's drowning, she want to die.
It depends. If the relationship is that bad, then
it's not about. Listen, it's not about the relationship. See, now I'm gonna have to coach you back into like I was coaching Mark. Lord. You don't have to. It's not about the relationship. If she's in dire need, go and get her. It's not about relationship. It's not about the relationship.
If you cause the need, though, how can somebody trust somebody who causes the need to be the one that saves them?
Well, I guess you're gonna drown, Dee. Because that it's not about relationship. Ultimately, it's about friendships. It's about being kind to one another. It's about helping one another, and it's about righting a wrong.
I would say it's more so about righting a wrong. I don't know if I agree with the other stuff about friendship. That's not what I got from the post, but I do get.
No. I'm mixing the two up. I'm not talking about that. Not talking about the post.
Oh.
I'm talking in general. Like when we see these women out here like that, we're partly responsible for that. Go and get that woman.
Okay.
Going to get not going to get on romantically, just like Brother Ramiel talked about. Well, people, when you think about relationship, we automatically go to romantic and sex and all this other stuff. It's not even about that. It's about being a kind person.
Yes.
Well,
So
go
let's
ahead.
finish up with the comments because we're almost at the end of the hour. So
Okay.
Martine said lots of guys blame women for failed unions. They feel that they're the ones who know more about what makes a good union and aren't going to make any adjustments, not right away. Oh, and then she did. So you saw us disagree. You saw them disagree on the post earlier. She saw Mark disagreeing with that post that you put up earlier.
Yeah.
Lanier says she didn't watch all of last Wednesday, so she hopes she gets all of it this week. Yeah, if you get a chance to, Lanier, go back and look at it. It's really worth It's definitely worth watching. And then Wednesday is going to be a conclusion, so you definitely want to make sure that you're up to speed. We're going to pick back up. And Mark said, okay. Tonight's topic touched on shared thoughts and experiences based upon the 11 signs of old relationships. I'm not going on any cruise or throwing passengers from ships like music. I'm not previous cats. Okay. Ursula says she's got one thing to say. Okay. Well, and what do you, well, you didn't say it. What's the one thing you want to say, Ursula? And Martine said lots of guys don't see that at first. They think that a woman is trying to control him. He later realizes that meant nothing but good, the whole life checking thing.
There you go. Oh. But the whole thing, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was me. I was reading.
Yeah, so the whole thing about, and this is what the Gumbo Talk is about. Like, Mark and I have been friends forever, but we don't have to agree on everything. So we agree to disagree, and I call him tomorrow, be like, hey, man, how about that trouble? He's going to take the call. He's going to take it because I love him to death. So I love him to life, not death. I love him to life.
Life, that's
so,
right.
Oh, she wants to invite real quick in to actually talk to you guys face to face.
Who?
Ursula.
Okay, Ursula, you get 5 minutes, darling. 5 minutes. That's
let me send a link real quick.
Come on. Martine says, I wouldn't want to make up with that man. Okay. Of course, if he's helping me to get out of the water that he thrown me into, I'll accept the help. Then I'm moving on. No patching things up. No way. That was a good point that we didn't think about, though, Coach D, was that, did you throw us in the water? So why do we really want you?
I hate to admit it, but I'm kind of agreeing with Mark on this. Like,
whoa, okay. Now here's okay. It must be the Mercury retrograde thing. Oh my gosh. Okay.
You got a couple minutes left, Mark. Don't mess it up.
Brent said, please show support to the family and hit the like button before you go. Yes, thank you for that reminder.
That's what I'm talking about. Appreciate your nephew. Hey, Ursula, I send that link over to you. I text it over. Just come through to your phone real quick. That's good stuff, real good stuff. So like I said, so we'll talk until Ursula comes through. But this is what the conversation is about. This is why we call it, Shann and I call it Gumbo Talk. We throw in all the different spices in. Everybody has an opinion. I'm not like that young Romello who was actually sitting in the producer's office in Marino Del Rey when he wanted to remix the entire album. And I told him at 17, everyone has an opinion.
Yeah.
Just like an asshole. That 17-year-old Romello called him an asshole. The guy that went on to give us so much success. Gotcha. So everyone has an opinion. We just have to listen.
All right. Mark said the hate is strong. We're giving you props tonight. What are you talking about?
Look, we were giving you love and you just couldn't.
And then Coach D just said she was agreeing with you on your thought process on the specific post, on that specific post. So
I told him not to mess it up. Look and go what he does.
I know, right?
Nah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. So we're waiting on Ursula. Ursula, I guess you want to get this off her chest real quick. We got a few minutes, Ursula.
Yeah, because I'm sure Coach D has little Xavier to get ready for school tomorrow since it's Sunday night.
Yep.
Probably I think we all have early days tomorrow. I know I do.
Right. Let's get to the teachable moment.
Yes.
So the teachable moment for me is when I go through these feeds and all these different videos being sent to me with these women and all that stuff, and I get a number of videos sent to me by a variety of people, and I just started looking at the pain. The teachable moment for me was, well, Trent, what are you gonna do about that? You didn't open his microphone back up. What are you gonna do about the pain? What are you gonna do? How are you gonna assist? What are you gonna contribute to healing instead of just dumping on these women who are actually screaming out for help? Pretty much that's what they're doing. So the teachable moment for me is stop and pay attention and listen. Let's bring Ursula in real quick, and then we'll close out.
Coach D, Mark's rebuttal was Princess Coach D said, and I quote, "I hate to agree. # game, set, and match." Hey, Ursula, long time no see. You look fabulous.
What up, Urs? What else?
Hey.
What's going on with you?
Hey.
Yeah, something on your mind you want to say? This is what the conversation is about. She called and asked for an invite. We bring the folks in. We truly mean.
I'm here.
Yeah, we can hear you, Urs. We can hear you.
I'm here. I'm trying to talk. Can y'all not hear me?
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay.
Yeah. So this is what the conversation is about, folks. She asked for an invite. This is what Shann and I talk about, adding your spice to the gumbo. So Urs came in to add a spice. What you got, Urs? What you got?
I think she's frozen.
Mm.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think she's frozen.
Look, Mark said, "Hello, Hollywood Earth with the frames." Mark, you are wrong. Martine says, "What I'm working on is to not keep having."
What you got, Urs?
Patience. Oh, there we go.
Okay. I think we're good, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. I'm sorry. Mark is a mess.
Go ahead and add your spice. You know, we're broadcasting to thousands. Now the conversation's back to where it was. So
I'm hearing an echo.
No, we're good. Go
Okay,
ahead. I got your headphones. Go ahead.
Okay, so what I wanted to add was when I first started listening to the show, I started thinking about how people always put their representative out there first. And they don't tell the cuts and scars that they have. They always tell just the best part of their relationship or the good stuff. All right. And you don't think or they don't present like they have a lot of cuts and bruises, but they do. But they never tell you that initially. But we all know if we're here and we're single, it's because we have cuts and bruises. Something didn't work out.
Right.
You know, so we got to know to give a person time to open up to even talk about that, you know? And then, you know, you have to move in a relationship from that to try to heal from it. So no, you don't, and you can decide whether or not you want to be with that person or not. You'll know that within the first conversations when they do talk about the hurt and the trauma. Everybody have trauma. If they didn't have trauma, then they wouldn't even be here. So everybody have it. It's just how do we navigate in your own current relationship past the trauma, you know?
Right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Mark sent you a personal shout out, Ursula.
What did he say?
He said, "Hello, Hollywood Earth with the frames."
Oh, I heard that. I don't know what the pranks are, but
Hi, Mark. Talking about your frames, your glasses.
About your glasses.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I thought you said pranks.
Oh no, frames. The frames.
Thank you.
Coach D, your thoughts to what Ursula added to the gumbo pot?
Who?
Coach
She's
D.
right.
Coach D. Yes. Go ahead.
Your thoughts to it? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said I agree with her.
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, thank you for adding that spice to the gumbo mix, Urs.
Yeah.
We're gonna close out here.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Bye.
Good seeing you. So I think we'll get Martine. Oh Lord. See, okay. I was gonna give Martine the last comment. Now Mark done snuck in there. So Martine said, "What I'm working on is to not keep having these same conversations. It's time to grow forward. We have got to have solutions." And she says, I'm gonna say too mature to be holding out. Yet not every guy is gonna have me spilling my guts. Some aren't worth that conversation. Very true. And Mark, a genuine person wouldn't have to play dress up with a representative. That's that tactic is showing the first red flag.
That's real talk.
Yeah.
That's real talk. So teachable moment that we get out.
I was about to say, we had your teachable moment. My teachable moment is being intentional about being aware of some of that trauma that you may be bringing from the past relationship into the next one, and being intentional about not doing it.
Good stuff, Shannon. Good stuff.
No, I'm telling you, Google helps.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Coach D?
Mine is heal from the previous relationship before you move into the next one, even if that means being alone for a while.
Boom. There's nothing wrong with being alone.
Well, I was about to say 8 years, but it wasn't. But no, you weren't alone for 8 years, so we're not. We're not going there. I'm not going there. Stop. I'm not going there because I don't want to hear nothing. We're not going there. But anyway, all right. So it's 8 after the hour.
It's good stuff, man. This is another good one. On Wednesday, Brother Ramiel will be back with us, talking about the masculinity and all that good stuff. So
we're going to be talking about energy. That's what we ended on, because that was what.
Absolutely, yep.
We'll be
we're speaking on the energy, and we appreciate you guys. Actually, Shannon and I were going over the platform, and she was actually Mark. I'd have to tell you, she called me up. She was like, "Guess what I'm doing?" I was like, "What?" And I heard my voice in the background. I'm like, "Oh, she's looking at the game tape here." Okay. I didn't realize
how long I had been doing this. There were so many. I was like, "Oh my God."
It's a lot of content, man. A lot of content.
It was. I was looking back. I'm like, and it's really, it's really changed over the past year. Like, really.
Yeah. But it was wonderful. I hadn't been on the back end for a while, and to see those numbers in the thousands, I'm grateful. I'm thankful and grateful for you guys and everything that you bring to the conversation and the support that you bring us. It's grateful to see it come back. So I was very, very surprised. So good stuff, man. Until Wednesday. So Shannon, you want to close out?
Yes. Last thing, Martine. Martine says, I don't send out any representatives. I'm me all day, every day. I'm no good at pretending. I've been alone for years. It's time for change. Still patient though. And Mark, you get the closeout for the night. He says, thanks for gracing us with your presence, Miss Earth. The after party will be at the W tonight. Pull up and slide through. And on that note, guys, everyone, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys on Wednesday with Brother Rod comes back on. And make sure grab some friends and have them come on and join us on Wednesday, and go over to where are we at? YouTube. We're on YouTube.
Or the Apple platform as well.
Podcast. And stay tuned. Coach D and I are looking forward to getting our hair, makeup, and lip gloss budget for the new platform. All right, good night, you guys.
Good night.
You guys be happy.
Conversations with Trent in conjunction with Taylor Kennedy Media and your radio network would like to thank you for calling in and listening to tonight's episode. We hope that tonight's conversation offended you just enough to turn your mirror inward, to come back for more. So until next week's conversation, be epic.